Alright, so the question I'm now going to tackle today is going to be about hair loss as it relates to androgen use. Specifically for women, might experience hair loss during, let's say, a course of something like Anavar or other types of anabolic-androgenic steroids. So, again, not really something that's that simple to answer. The reason being is that something like hair loss is so multifactorial in why it's happening. So there are genetic underlying patterns of hereditary balding that scientists are still kind of figuring it out. I think they thought that they had it, but really now that we're in this beautiful genetic revelation, it's turning out that it's not that simple. Other things that can cause hair loss are thyroid hormone. You can have, stress. You can wear a hat and it causes your hair follicles to not want to hold on to hair enough. You can pull your hair as you're brushing it. You can utilize a shampoo that's got a ton of chemicals and toxins in it. You can dye your hair too much. So there's just a lot of different factors that can cause some type of hair loss. And one of the ones I see a lot of with people that I work with is seasonal changes. I call it the molting season. If anybody has pets that are shedding, animals that shed, you'll notice that there are certain periods of time that they are going to molt a little bit more. Humans are the same. There are periods of time based off of just changes to the weather or the environment that we're going to have some more shedding. As somebody that used to have hair down to their bum, I can tell you that I shed a lot. But I will also, though, kind of use my own little story here to kind of get through this question with you. So, as some of you know, because I've talked about it in other videos and on podcasts I've done, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I've been diagnosed for a very, very long time with it. When I was first, though, going through my massive, epic medical adventure, I was losing hair, and I was losing hair dramatically fast. However, I am part Yeti, so I have a lot of hair. And I would go to doctors, and they would stare at me, they would kind of rub their fingers through my hair, and the hair would come out. But then they would take a step back and go, yeah, you're not really losing hair. Look how much hair you have on your head. That, to me, was the most frustrating thing, because they could have a clump of hair in their hand, and they still would not recognize that I was losing hair, because visually, it did not look like I had a lot of hair loss, which was incredibly, incredibly frustrating. So, yes, I have dealt with it myself. Do I am I an expert on balding? Absolutely not. However, androgenic alopecia, which is what the name of it is, happens with PCOS. It also happens with the use of androgenic hormones, so steroids. For individuals that already have a precursor to androgenic alopecia, whether that is environmental, maybe the use of birth control at a young age, something like Diane, that there is an anti-androgen in it, they go off, their androgen spike, all the way to any use of just steroid cycle. Yeah, you're going to have it. And if you have an underlying cause to begin with, and then you go on a steroid, now you've got androgenic alopecia on steroids, literally. It's going to be heightened. So what I recommend is trying to get to the root cause of it first before you venture down the yellow brick road to PED use. So you got to deal with the underlying precursors. You've got to deal with the high levels of androgens first and foremost, and the ways that you can do it, there's lots of different ways. Eating, therapeutic, managing your hormones through lifestyle factors, making sure you have enough progesterone in your body by things like sleeping and stress reduction. There are very benign ways that you can get to the root cause of underlying hormonal imbalances. There are drugs, anti-androgens. Something like spironolactone is an anti-androgen. It hasn't really been shown to help that much, though, with hair loss. There is a drug called finasteride, which is it's a pretty potent drug. Not something I think personally, and I can say because I've been prescribed it, I've actually done, because I really didn't find when I was prescribed it, I wasn't having any hair loss. So I've always had shark bites, even though I did have one doctor try to tell me recently that was hair loss. My hairline has always looked like this since I was a kid. He literally tried to pathologize both my eyebrows and my hairline as I was sitting in front of him, which is a totally different story for another day. However, okay, going back to my whole things we can do, Rogaine shampoos. They do have side effects though, so I mean, are you willing to do it? It is a long-term kind of protocol you have to go through. It's like minimum of 3 to 6 months before you start to see changes. There's laser treatments. Like I said, with the genetic universe now opening up to us, there are new actually gene therapies that are being introduced for something like alopecia and balding. There are, I mean, more natural routes of shampoos and conditioners. One of the things, again, trial and error that I learned, one of the things that actually was causing my hair loss to be exponentially worse was that I have food allergies. I'm allergic to a whole bunch of stuff. Eggs is one of them. I found out that a lot of the shampoos I was using actually had egg in them. So once I figured that out and I got rid of that shampoo and I went a shampoo that had nothing I was allergic to, I'm meaning no gluten, and yes, if you have celiacs and you're using a shampoo that has gluten in it, you might want to think twice about that one. But I found shampoos that were only things that I could have in it. It helped with my hair loss significantly because I was causing a scalp-based inflammatory response that was causing my hair to fall out faster. So managing those variables. Other things that I think are really important to think about is that just because you're maybe going into maybe thinking a SARM might be better, so a selective androgen receptor, it might be better. No, it's not going to be better. Unfortunately, it's going to come with its own host of side effects. It might not be as bad for your hair follicles, but it's going to be ridiculously hard on your liver. I am not a proponent to, I guess, that SARM avenue quite yet. There's not enough research for me to feel that I can stand behind them and really, really think about them, even for a therapeutic purpose. There is a ton of research going on, but we're not there yet. And if you're buying the black market, which I know y'all are, they're probably not SARMs. So keep that in mind. For women as well, if they are experiencing other signs of what we call DHT, either buildup, such as oily skin, sebaceous acne, secondary hair growth on their face, as well as having dandruff, as well as having hair falling out, and you think you're taking just Anavar, you might want to think twice about that, because those are some pretty big signs that you're having a high amount of androgens in your body. Therefore, something like Anavar or Imprimabalmin shouldn't really cause that extreme amount of androgenic side effects, or really their effects happening, because it's what happens with androgens. Also, too, I guess, guys, if you have PCOS and you're dabbling in this universe, I don't even want to call it PCOS. If you have high androgens, just you, as an individual, think twice. That's my big piece of takeaway puzzle here. Think twice. Because once you boost them up even higher, it is going to be an incredibly long journey to get them down to a level that is both healthy, not from an external hair growth, hair loss, but an internal standpoint. It's going to be a very long time. It's going to be a very long journey. So, rule number one, make sure that your base, your foundation, is where you need it to be for you to weather that storm. I hope that answers your question, and if you have any comments, questions, please feel free to write them below, and check out my websites for some more information, whether it's on femchem or just the PCOS world or just health issues. And I will tackle more femchem in another video.